A little while ago, you guys saw that we installed some backcountry snow tracks onto my '07 STI, and I told you guys very shortly you guys are going to see this car up into the mountains. Now, it's been quite some time, and this is the current state of the car. So let's cut back to about a month ago where we did end up taking this car all the way to Montana up into the mountains, but we had a little bit of an unexpected turn. Well, we made it to Montana. Tonight, Jesse and I, we're going to do our test run with this car, make sure everything works before the big YouTube video. Now, unfortunately, doing a 1 through 4 hit right behind the highway before we went up into the mountains, we started seeing that this car was overheating.
Well, it's probably the manifold, but let's see.
And pouring quite a bit of smoke. We stopped, we were in the top of 4th at this point, and noticed that the radiator cap on my expansion tank it couldn't have been secured. It shot off, and we lost all the coolant in this car, and we tried rebleeding it. This engine is completely gone. Very, very unfortunate, but since Jesse was driving, I didn't get to experience this. This engine's already destroyed. I'm gonna go ahead and give her one final send-off before we bring it back, put a built engine in this car, probably put on some E85, and then next time we go into the mountains, this car will be ready to go. The worst part about this, well, of course, our engine, but we just picked up so much food and snacks because we were planning to be up there for many, many hours. We didn't think that we would run into these issues. Just because a radiator cap was just, it wasn't on. It wasn't on. We made it back home, but it is now time to get the car unloaded, torn apart to figure out what exactly we destroyed. We've got the SC on the lift. It is about time to get this engine out of here, completely torn apart, and inspect what got damaged, what's usable, and rebuild from there. The first thing I want to check is the oil pan. We have to go ahead and flush all the fluid out of the system so we can get this engine out of here, and I'm curious to see if we're gonna find any coolant in this oil pan, as that could indicate if we did end up lifting ahead. It's quite dark. But after draining it, there's no immediate concern. Now take a look at this. This is our plug for our radiator. It should not be finger loose. It seems all of our coolant caps were pretty loose on there. Now it doesn't look like it was leaking out of the bottom. I'm sure it wasn't helping, but I have a pretty high hope that this engine is actually fine. More than likely did probably lift a head gasket, but I don't think there's gonna be any real damage. But now it's time to start tearing apart this car to get this engine out. You're kind of, you know, Now removing this car piece by piece, we're almost ready to get this engine out. That work. And here we go, we got everything disconnected. This long block should be ready to pull out of here. Now to get this engine out, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I was curious if we were able to do it with a forklift, so we're gonna go give her a go. A little bit more. Okay, you're chained. No way. We're clear, so keep going up. Yeah, you're good, just send her up. No way. No way. You're good, you can pull her out of here. They get it clear? Oh, that's amazing.
Keep coming, keep coming. Perfect. All right, so you pull away.
And now we're going through and de-dressing this entire engine, as we're still trying to find out exactly what went wrong. Oh yeah, moment of truth. Dude, the head gasket.
I see some fluid.
No, well that's normal. I just pulled off the head.
Right
No way. Dude, it looks fine. This gasket did not leak. Well, if we blew a head gasket, we're gonna see it now. Dude, the head gasket looks fine.
Chasing gremlins now.
We didn't blow a head gasket. We didn't blow a head gasket. Now in front of us, we have our brand new used, it is our old case halves, but I had Josh Bader go through and throw in some Manly rods, H-beam rods, and Manly platinum pistons. This engine, or this car, desperately needed a built engine anyway. We're changing a few things up. One is obviously we now have a built engine. We are putting E85 on, but let's go ahead and get our new motor assembled. And we've got our first head gasket going on here. These Cooper rings also only go on one way. There's a rib side, and that is the side that goes towards your cylinder head. So make sure that's on. Slide her down. This is the first time I don't have to be the one torquing my heads down. You can break it.
Right.
What torque is this?
This is 75.
So we're going in increments as well. I think we started at 40, 75, and then we're gonna hit it with our final torque spec. My special torque spec that I always do on EJs, and I've never once lifted a head, so we should be good. And we didn't even lift a head this time. I thought when we tore this thing apart, it was lifted head. No, this stock engine, she put out. Now, I say this every time I put together an engine. The scariest part for me personally, I know a lot of you guys as well,
I hate it, man.
is torquing down the heads.
Just like that lash, you're like, click, click, click. And then it like, cause I've had them where they like pop.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like,
oh yeah.
The day just got bad.
100%. But since we got Hulk here,
Yeah.
I'll have him break it. Dude, it scares me every time. Ooh.
One down, fucking 12 more to go.
11 more.
Or 11 more, sorry.
Come on.
I didn't get through math.
The head's on backwards.
Shut up.
Well, there we go.
I put exhaust down. I know the rods were sitting on. I'm like, I know I'm not a Subaru guy, but.
This video is just teaching Jesse how to build a Subaru. I've done this too many times. Truthfully, I'm sick of it. We got him now.
Yeah.
But we just went through finalized torque on all of these. Gonna go through once more, just make sure it clicks through again. But our first driver's side head is torqued on. Which side is what?
This is intake. It's got to
know?
go it points to the timing belt.
How do you know it's intake though?
What's that?
How do you know it's intake, not exhaust?
Because it says I here and the E for exhaust.
You're right.
Am I?
Yeah, you're right.
I just.
Yeah, you're right. I is intake, E is exhaust, and then, yep, arrow pointing forward.
It was all muscle memory.
This is awesome. I can make this whole video like me trying to teach Jesse, and I don't have to do any work. He's just gonna build this for me. Step away from Jesse teaching lessons, as I don't want the head gaskets to go on wrong. So we're throwing on our passenger side head gasket, and then we'll continue with our school lesson of the day. Jesse's doing his thing here, getting the deck surface cleaned up with some nice brake clean. And then school will go back into session.
Well, the apprentice always gets the shit work, and the journeyman, takes all the credit.
Now I'll have you just slightly, don't pull too much, I'm just gonna off time it. Now we can pull the grenade pin, our timing tensioner. Ugh. Let that settle for a second. Go ahead and remove our Company 23 cam lockers. And then we're gonna go ahead and crank this over to verify that this is still in time. And now we have our drop-in ready engine and attempt to reinstall this using the forklift.
How frowned upon is this?
This is like, this is genuinely a dumb idea. This is not my doing. This is him.
Okay, you can start going down.
And to my surprise, it worked. Let's throw some oil in.
All right. Got some nice 2050 VR1.
Built engine now, so on stock engine, I always use 1030 VR1. Now that we have a built engine, different tolerances, I like to use the 2050. So we're gonna go ahead, I believe it's 6.5 quarts, might have to double check. Get our new clutch slave bled, put some coolant in it, and hopefully the car runs. And right on cue, looks like we have a coolant leak. We're gonna put the car up in the air. It looks like it's coming from the water pump. I really hope that's not the case. Oh yeah, it's coming straight from the water pump. It's gonna be hard for you guys to see, but it's a consistent stream there.
If it goes bad, you'd be like, fuck, I would have done better if I would have assembled it.
All right, well, we know we have an issue with the water pump, but before we dive in to try to figure out what's going on there, we're gonna go ahead and start the car anyway, just for a second to make sure it's actually running properly, make sure it's in time, stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead, hook up the jump pack, give this a quick fire up. Can't let it run for too long as there is no water, but cross our fingers, the water pump's our only issue. No.
What?
It's not running how it's supposed to.
What do you mean?
It's like down cylinders right now. It fixed it. Yeah. So we had a coolant temp sensor unplugged. I guess it threw the whole car in lit mode. It's idling properly now.
Fired up. We had a minor hiccup with the
At least the engine runs. It's been a month since I've heard this thing. All right, here we are. A little bit later, I went ahead and removed the whole timing cover so I can get a closer look at the water pump. Looks like the top bolt, and thankfully the only bolt you're able to access without detiming it, was a little bit loose, so I went ahead, tightened it down, filling it with coolant. So far, this is a promising sign. It's gulping, which should mean that there's no air escape in the system. So we're gonna go ahead, fill it up, and just patiently wait to see if it leaks. Because beforehand, as you guys saw, it was just pissing out at a consistent stream. Uh-oh.
Is it leaking?
Drip. Drip. I think it's still leaking. Got our lower timing tensioner off, or not tensioner, idler. Our belt's loose. Now we can go ahead, pop that off. Those cam gears are gonna snap into whatever position they are. And then we can go ahead and remove this idler, and we should be able to access all the bolts.
That would be the best thing you fucking taste.
Now, I got incredibly lucky. Removed the 2 pulleys, so I was able to access the water pump bolts. 2 of them were loose. I went ahead and tightened it down. And I was able to throw the belt back on without having to hold the driver's side cam gears. It stayed in place, turn it over 2 times, and as we can see, probably hard for you guys, our passenger side is in time, top dead center on the crank, and right over here, we got both of our timing marks lined up. So we're gonna go ahead, fill it with coolant again, and cross our fingers, no more leaks. There we go. It is properly taking coolant. So far, not a single drop of coolant leaked. We're gonna go ahead, start the car, actually let it idle this time, get up to temperature. That way we can for sure see if there's any coolant leaks or not. So far, no oil leaks. We've let the car run a couple times now. I just wanna do a street hit. We're losing daylight. Being able to see the timing like this. Look at the timing go. All right, we got the coolant system all bled. It's now time to go on our very first test drive. Still have all of the gear with me from when we went out to Montana the first time, but don't worry. If everything goes good on this test drive, in just a couple days, we're going back to Montana and going up into the mountains. It drives a little bit different with active tires on here.
Yeah, right.
Get the seatbelt action going.
Actually, that 6-puck ain't that bad.
No, the 6-puck is... I forgot it was a 6-puck in here, to be honest.
Yeah.
It drives fantastic. Yeah, what the hell? It feels great. Way snappier. What the?
How do I turn my heated seat off?
She drives good. I think we're ready.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to go back into the mountains, baby.
She mountain ready.
It steers like ass without the tracks on, but
With 10 inches more ground clearance.
yeah.
But
And honestly, it doesn't
what it
drive
was-
that bad though.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
this-
it actually feels really
The
smooth.
drive of it. I mean, this is some
Yeah.
good suspension.
Yeah, for sure.
Even jacked up. How many inches did we raise?
Well,
this?
honestly, this thing's probably sitting a foot over what it was when you first brought it to me lower, you know?
And no alignment.
And no alignment,
Like,
exactly.
I'm going.
Wow,
it's a
it pulls a little bit, but it's not bad, actually.
Quickly verify nothing's leaking, nothing's smoking that shouldn't be. Well, nothing should be smoking. Under the car is dry. Engine sounds good. No smoke. Just pop the hood, make sure everything looks dry under there.
Look how quiet the motor is. That's Jesse tilting the cymbal.
A little bit of smoke there, but we spilled some coolant on the radiator.
It's gonna be just cleaning things off, or burning things off.
Nothing unusual.
No blow-by, dry on the canister.
Let's go tonight. I don't think you guys understand how demotivated I once was when we got this car done, went to the mountains, and proved all of you haters correct. Now I just want to get the tracks back on here, go into the mountains, have a fun time, but see what this car can do with backcountries in some good snow. Another reason I'm a little annoyed is we're at the end of winter. Thankfully, they just got hit with like a couple feet of snow at their summit. So thankfully we did get fresh snow, but we're kind of running out of time. We need to get this car up there before the season ends and I cut up a car for nothing. Look at you,
We did the-
shifting for me.
Oh yeah, the teamwork right here. We both got cameras.
Oh, it's a little bright out. Well, if you're gonna do a hit, you have to at least hit fourth.
I know.
Let's wait for this truck,
At least
though.
touch it.
Also, this is how you properly break in a motor.
Right. I mean, the more miles, the more we're seating that clutch and everything. Really, the motor I'm not worried about. It's the clutch that I would like to break in a little bit more.
That's a myth.
Nah.
All right.
Skeet, skeet.
I wasn't gonna flat foot it because I was like, I'll be nice to the motor, and then I did flat foot it.
I know, I'm like, that was a no lift shift there.
Okay, that's like 6 hits.
Hey, we gotta put it through a little bit of abuse because
We're not gonna take this up there without knowing.
yeah,
it's gonna
we
work.
gotta know that it's gonna handle it. Right on, we made it back. That is a very good
It lived.
thing. Yeah,
It lived. Now it's just gotta live in the mountain.
it's still.
There we go. Make sure there's Still no fluid underneath. 3 days of work to do an engine swap. Also, huge shout out to Jesse for one, allowing me to use his shop space to rebuild this car, but also for allowing me to make this track dream a reality. And you built your very first EJ.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. Remy watched over me and guided me.
Now Jesse's made me a deal here. Now these tracks, they're very expensive. Now he told me if we get him to 2,500 followers or subscribers on YouTube,
I will give these tracks to him for free. This is giving Remy about a $12,000 to $15,000 deal for free. If you guys can, we're trying to get our YouTube off the ground, and we're going to be doing a lot of cool content. I have a 2,000 horsepower Mustang I'm building for the summer that you can follow me on that build. And I plan to do a lot of other stuff. We're going to be putting tracks on a street bike. We're just going to be continuing our YouTube and a lot of cool content, but we need a jump start. And I thought, what a cool way is let Remy win on this deal, and also if we could get us up to 2,500 followers or subscribers.
And that's a wrap. So if you guys are curious why you haven't seen my STI in a while, well, this was why. We thought we took out the engine, ended up not taking out the engine, but we are back with a built engine and some improvements, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we're up in Montana.